I went
Aloha
design man.
kako. Aloha kako. Welcome to Kanakanology. Happy summer to everybody out there. Tonight we have Noʻeau Woo OʻBrien. Noʻeau is a Moku Keawe resident. He's a Pahoa High School grad. Chihi. And then also has a bachelor's in Hawaiian studies and
Digital
media
media. Yes.
digital media from UH Hilo, and then a master's in Hawaiian studies from UH Manoa. And he's joining us here tonight. Mahalo, No'eau. So happy to have you.
Aloha. Yee.
So No'eau,
Yes.
we know each other because we both Pohoa people, but
Yes.
also I have been following you on social media for many years. You've been sharing all kinds of stuff, and I just love what you're putting out there to the public. And so happy, definitely caught Kumuzai. And so we're so happy to have you here. I'd love to get to know about like your journey and where you began, how you got to this point, what brought you, and where you like to go from here. So tell us your mo'olelo.
Okay, so this mo'olelo can go in all kind different directions, but I'm gonna start with my mother, Luan Ivalani Wu. When I was small, she made sure to instill like intense pride in our identity as being Kanaka. And I remember the first time I ever learned about something as heavy as like the overthrow was when I think it was on our way to school at Pohoa. We were listening to the radio on KWXX and a song, which song? Oh, Kaulana Napua, the remix with Sudden Rush came on the radio and we were listening to it. And I remember listening to the lyrics and wondering like, wait, what? What happened? Something happened to a queen. And I think I was like in third grade or something. And then my mom and I end up having this like deep discussion on the ride to school about like the whole history, well, as much as she could before she could drop me off. And at that moment, I believe is when like the first hua or seed was planted in my brain, like, oh, there's some kind of injustice going on with our people and something needs to be done. And yeah, for me, that's where I think it all began because it's still vivid in my mind. Even when I did my master's thesis, that was one of the first memories I wrote about from when I was small.
On your way to school with Auntie. I can't believe you was third grade when that came out. I feel
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, it's a throwback now.
Yeah. So wow, from early time, from young
Yes,
kid time, it was always a part of your ohana.
yes.
Awesome. So how was it then when you was like getting older, going through high school and stuff?
I would also like to add that I grew up in Puna, specifically in the Ahupua'a of Waikahiula, or most know it today as Hawaiian Beaches. And concerning Waikahiula, so if you're not from Puna, one of our main deities or akua here is Pele. So I always had Pele as a huge influence in my life, whether it was stories told from my family or small kind stories that we heard in school. So I just want to make that clear. Like there was always things going on in the background, even if Hawaiian culture wasn't exactly like a constant influence in my upbringing within the ohana. The aina around me was always a major influence in my life. And Kalamai, what was the question you asked?
So tell us, so what happened like after and those and growing up in that way? What made you end up getting into like Hawaiian studies? Were you active in that kind of stuff in high school?
Oh yes. So I had this awesome Kumu'olelo Hawaii. Her name was Napua Thomas. She was also yes, you know her too. She was another big influence in my life. She was very like ku'e, and she told us to always be proud of who we are and no matter what to perpetuate the culture and the language. But there's one moment in particular that I want to share with you folks now that comes to mind. So I think I was in the 10th or 11th grade when we found out one semester we weren't going to be focusing on like grammar. We were going to be focusing on hula. And we're like, oh yeah? And then Kumu Napua, she was like, yeah, we're gonna be learning Pele dances. And we're like, oh, okay, yeah, shoots. And then she told us, yeah, my hula sister's coming. I think you like just unikied around that time, Kumu, Yeah. Yeah, because I remember her telling us something like that. We're like, oh, okay, no kumu. We're kind of scared. And she's from Halaoke Kuhi. So like, oh, okay, it's legit. um, but yeah, so you came, kumu, and you taught us a few hula pele, and just your presence and the way you explained those hula to us, I just need to let you know that that completely impacted my life.
Wow, thank you.
Yes, yes. I remember, I think the first dance you taught us was Kuololoa. And we talked about Panaeva and the mo'os in Panaeva. And at that time, like I was mind blown. I was like, there was mo'os? What the heck? Yeah. So that like definitely sparked my interest into like mo'olelo and mythology and all of that stuff. So I remember while we were learning that dance, like I think it was Nathaniel B. Emerson's version of the story, the Hi'iaka story. I was reading that, and yeah, it just changed my whole perspective of Puna once you started teaching us those dances.
Wow.
Yes.
I can relate to that. I can relate to that.
Yeah, it was like my whole landscape and reality just like switched just from learning those dances. And I was like, oh, this is some powerful stuff. But then another story I would like to share with you folks regarding that time in my life. So I think that year you came, and then we liked you so much that you came back another year. And by that time, like I think the Olala Hawaii class that you're coming to teach conflicted with another class that I had at the same time, which was AP English. And I remember asking my English teacher if I could like, because I was already doing well in her classes, like, is it okay if I like miss a couple classes to go learn some hula pele? And she told me, no. She told me hula is not gonna take you further in life. She said hula is like cheerleading. You don't need to even be a part of it. My class is more important than that. And I remember looking at her. Yeah, I was in shock. Like, what did you just say? And like, she's one of those teachers that was hired from America to come down and teach us. So she had no idea of like how important that kind of stuff is to us. But at that time, I didn't have like the mindset to articulate why I did not agree with her answer. So instead of fighting her, I just went anyways.
Oh my
Yeah. So that's like the first time, because I was always like a really good student in school, like kind of obedient. I was like, yeah, I gotta get the good grades, gotta go kulanui. But once I heard that, I was like, no, sorry. I gotta do what my Noʻeau is calling me to do and what gives me life. So all those practices, just know I wasn't supposed to be there.
Oh.
It's cutting class.
Yeah. So that was like the first moment in my life where I remember being like super cool, like too bad.
Yeah.
This is something that calls to me more. And I knew in my Noʻeau that doing Hawaiian things is what was gonna carry me. I don't know how to explain it. I just knew, like, not learning this AP English, I have to do Hawaii. Oh yeah.
Wow.
So from there, did you go straight to college?
Yes.
Into UH Hilo? And what, you live in Hilo?
No, I actually went straight to Manoa.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yes. So how do I tell this part of the story? So around that time,
what dorm you in live? Nah.
No. So like around that time, I think it was around senior year, I was trying to figure out like what to do next. Because I also, besides everything Hawaii, like I also love media and film. And I looked into UH Hilo and they didn't have, at least at the time, I'm not sure if they do now, at the time they had no media, like you couldn't major in anything film whatsoever. So I looked into Manoa and I saw that they had a pretty good film program. So I was like, okay, I'll go try that out. And mind you, I didn't know at the time anything about like Haunani Ke Trask and Lili Kala. I didn't know like all these big dogs in the Hawaiian movement was over there. So once I got to Manoa, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna do film and I'll just like do Hawaiian studies kind of stuff on the side. But then I think it was once I got into Kumulili Kala's mythology class, the first day of class, and this is another moment in my life that changed everything for me. like I wasn't too into Hawaii stuff. Like I loved male Hawaii, but I wasn't like, okay, this is gonna be my thing. The first day of class, she had us all get up one by one, and she asked us, and we had to answer on the spot. What do you plan to do for your nation with what I'm about to teach you? Yeah. And we were just like, what? What nation? And she explained, yes, if I'm going to teach you this, I'm giving you kuleana and I expect you to do something with it. So every time throughout the semester, she would stop the class and make us answer that question. Like if there's ever a time where she felt like we weren't really into what she was teaching us, she would remind us again, why are you here? What are you going to do with this information? Yes, you're going to pass it on. So that altered my reality. And then again, I was still majoring in film, and I was realizing that there weren't really much Hawaiian filmmakers. I mean, there were Kanaka in the program who wanted to make Hawaiian films, but they didn't really have like a understanding of much Ike Hawaii kind stuffs. And then I was like, maybe I could try this. So I made a film that was Maka'olelo Hawaii. And then while I was in the process of that, I was like, yeah, this is cool and all, but the film would probably be better if my kahua was like pa'a, and I didn't have to like keep asking around everybody for all these sources. So as I continued on in the film program and I was taking Hawaiian studies classes on the side, I realized I was finding myself drawn more to the Hawaiian studies classes than it was to the film classes. So I was like, okay, that's it. I'm gonna double major. So I ended up double majoring, and I got through the film classes really easy. The Hawaiian studies classes were the ones that gave me all my life though, especially classes like Mo'okuahau and mythology. And there was a class that was designed by Haunani-Kay Trask called Myths of Hawaiian History, where you pretty much deconstruct myths that were started by missionaries, like Hawaiians are savages, Hawaiians are illiterate, all these kind of things. So that class, I was just like, whoa, the world needs to know about these things. And through being in the program, I got to hear more about Haunani-Kay Trask, and I got really close to Lili Kalakame'elehiva and John Osorio, and they would tell me all the things that they went through just in order to get the program started. And yeah, I was one of those haumana that like to stay after class and just listen to them talk and talk stories with them and just soak in as much as I could, because I don't know, it just felt good. And eventually, I mean, I shared this story online already, but I think it's important that I share it again. There was one day where Kumu John had us talk about sovereignty, and he made us go around the room and ask us what sovereignty meant to us. And at the end of that discussion, I can't remember exactly what was said, but I remember how it felt. And there was just like this heaviness that stayed with me after class. And I was thinking about all the stories that he shared with me, everything Lili Kalal shared with me. Ended up going online, being like, okay, let me try to see if I can like find footage of that era in time and to see like what the movement was really like. So I started finding like clips of Haunani-Kay Trask on these talk shows, going like head to head with these Holly guys who are saying that she's racist. Yeah.
The ones that we all know and share continuously now. Yeah, right.
So I found a bunch of those, some of Kumu Lili Kalal, some of Kumu John, just pretty much everybody early on in the movement. I was finding clips. They were just like popping up left and right. So I would be like showing them to all my friends in the dorms. And I'd be like, oh my God, you guys, look at our Kumus, look what they're doing back in the days. And it was just like a big thing. Like I was excited and I was proud of our Kumus. And sometimes I'd tell our Kumus like, oh, look what I found. And they'd be like, oh, they'd be like so shamed, be like, ew, look at my hair. And I'm like, who cares about your hair? Look what you're doing. Like you made all this happen. Yeah, Kumu Kekai, who you guys had on this show before, he gets super shamed if you find the clip that I brought up of him. So yeah, he really
his hair. His hair was
he really don't like his hair. He's like, no, yeah, why did you have to share that clip? I was like, because what you're saying matters.
Yes, that started you down this whole journey of going into the archives. So like, where did you find them? In the library?
No. So even that's a long story. So I would just Google things and certain things would just pop up. Some would be on YouTube, some would be on top. So UH has this site called Voyager, where they have like all these old school clips and archival footage. But the junk part is you can only access it if you're a UH student or faculty member. So it's kind of like UH is holding all of this EK like ransom. So I would save the footage to my computer on a drive, and I wouldn't touch them. I'll just be like, okay, I'll just hold on to it just in case. But once I got into the master's program, I was like, oh, so I had this feeling that hit me. It was like, you just share it, just share some. So the first one I shared was, I think was Haunani-K Trask on that show, going head to head with that guy, and Lily Kala at some kind of panel where they were criticizing her about Hawaiian culture not mattering or something like that. And then once I shared those clips, they kind of blew up, and I was like, oh, okay, okay, this must be a good thing. People want this.
The people love this.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, we love it.
And then Kumulili Kala, she was like, no, just keep going, because like you're bringing attention to our movement and you're like sparking it up again. So keep going. So every other week I would share like something on Thursday, because it was like a throwback Thursday kind of thing. And every time like it would get shared everywhere. And I was like, oh, okay, yes. And then people around the world would start contacting me. I had people from like Africa, from Mexico, yeah, asking me like, oh, what is this Hawaiian movement? We didn't know that America did this to you guys. We didn't know any of this. So I'll be having chats with people like around the globe and trying to like give them sources and tell them, oh, you can contact this kumu and you can contact this person. So yeah, it just sparked this whole thing. And then I started this hashtag on Ike Matters, and I forget, oh, keep the conversation going. Cause yeah, a bunch of my kumus are like, just keep going, just keep people talking so that it'll spark more change. And I'll never forget one clip that I noticed the biggest change lately was there was a clip that I found that took place at the Aloha Stadium, and it featured Auʻaʻia, and there was like thousands of dancers on the stage. And then I remember after I posted that, like a bunch of kumus from all over the place were like, oh my God, we totally forgot that we could use this as a protest, like hula. And then next thing you know, I see it on the Mauna, and there's like the same amount of people doing it. So I was like, wow, it's cool. It's like happening again. And then a couple of the kumus like messaged me and said it was because we saw that clip and that inspired us to bring it back. And I was like, awesome, yes.
I remember when you shared that, we had just learned that mele.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, not realizing, because you taught us what it meant in the Wakaiko. But then to see it at that time, and it was really a ku'e. It was a reclaiming the hula, no more the kind Waikiki, sexy dancer kind thing for the haules. It was a reclaiming of hula for the Kanaka. It's not an entertainment.
Exactly.
And that was huge. That was huge and so powerful.
And one of the beautiful things about that clip to me was it wasn't just a bunch of halaus from the same line. There were halaus from every line there doing auʻaʻia in their style. So it was like a massive reclaiming, and it was just wonderful. I loved it. I still watch it a lot to this day.
That's something I have. So like out of all of those clips, what is something when you're going through, there must be some that you find you're like, oh, maybe not this one. What is it that, what is that spark that makes you think this is one that I got to get back out there?
Yeah. So what was cool about those clips were they were like kind of coinciding with the classes I was taking in Hawaiian studies, especially the myths of Hawaii class, where we're deconstructing all these missionary myths that they placed upon us. So a lot of them was like racism and whatnot. So once we discussed the whole Joey Carter incident with what happened with Haunani-K Trask, where she used the word haole, and then that Joey Carter didn't like it, and it erupted into this big thing. Like I didn't know anybody in my generation who even understood that story. Like they didn't know, because they know somewhat of Haunani-K Trask, but they didn't know what she went through while she was in the program. So once I found all these clips of her actually going at it with people and trying to explain, I was like, okay, this needs to come back out, because a lot of people have forgotten, especially not to down on the students of my generation in Hawaiian studies, but we become kind of complacent because like we didn't have to fight for the building. We didn't have to fight for most of the things that are in the Kulanui now. it's just there, it's available to us. So we're just like, oh, cool, awesome. So some of us kind of forget that our kumus had to fight. They had to do so much to get this for us. So yeah, that was definitely one of the things that inspired me to post those clips, because I was like, okay, I need to re-spark that interest. Like, okay, we're doing this for a reason. There's a kuleana that comes with it, and we're to continue it.
It's so important, yeah, because I always, well, that's like one of the first things when I teach my students too, because I teach modern history of Hawaii and Hawaiian Kingdom in the high school. I'm like, the only reason why you have this class is because Hawaiian activists would fight for this class to be taught. You cannot take it for granted, this knowledge that what you're learning in here. Yeah, it's like people had to fight for this. And so that's interesting. That's really interesting to think, like, you know, we're so happy that our struggles, we don't want our children to struggle, but that's a really interesting concept to think of, like the knowledge of the struggle and how that makes you appreciate what you have in one different way, and a motivation. Mahalo for sharing that. It's something I want to sit on for a while. How important it is to really have a comprehension of what not to take anything for granted.
Yes.
Well, before the program at the University of Hawaii, during that struggle with Haunani K guys, they were known as the ethnic studies. We did not have the title that is now the Hawaiian Studies. You know, wale no kind of action, and everything else is kind of like a topic of discussion, but the main topic is Hawaiian Studies. Because I mean, that was the stepping stone. They had to create something in order to make that stepping stone into, now this is ours. You know, and what I, you know, get from your mo'olelo and joining it up with what happened in the past, you know, I never, you know, really looked at how you said, you know, complacent and everything, but I can see now through your mo'olelo that, yeah, I never thought about it that way. That it's kind of like you guys are the recipients of all the ku'e action, right? Yeah. And so, like, for me, what do you folks do with that knowledge now? You know, because it's like, to me, the va'a is in the doldrum. You have no, it's a time where, you know, there's no wind. You have to keep each other company, you know, on the ba'a, you know, you have to make your own stuff happen, whatever. And so how do you guys take care of those times of the doldrum time, you know, where you got to wait for the wind, you got to wait for the makani? You know, I mean, what do you folks do now with what, you know, you just enlightened us about? You know, I just liken it to the doldrums, because I can see how you could have, you know, your generation could have been complacent, but how do you folks now, as a hui of age, move the va'a so that when the makani picks up again, because it's always going to pick up, because you know, there's this doldrum, then we have the ku'e for the mauna, you know, there's going to be a doldrum, and then, you know, how do you folks deal with that?
So another question that Lily Kala posed to us was like, what is our oihana, and what are we talented in? And she would always challenge us to find what our talent is and use it in ways to move the lahui ahead. So I always took that for myself, because I'm good with media and social media kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, so I'm gonna keep sharing. If I find stuff, I'm gonna just share it. So that's how I handle it personally. And if I come into any like other territories where I'm able to use my talents to bring our ike out to the world, then I will do so.
So how do you bring it back to your now, you know, when you put the media thing on the side a little bit so that you can get all the information of being Hawaii? How do you bring that back into the mix and take it, not just showing everybody the videos, but how do you make your video now?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I'm curious about.
So when I was in the master's program, there was a screenplay that I wrote, because I figured if I'm going to use my talents with media, I might as well find a big project that I can try and develop so I can use my Ike in both fields, Ike Hawaii and with media, combine it, and then send it out into the world. So my master's thesis was actually a screenplay for a feature film that's all about Puna. It's all about my upbringing in Puna. And one of the reasons why I wrote it was because I'm not sure if a lot of people watching this know, at least in my time when I was growing up, and still, I guess, to today, there was a lot of negativity surrounding Puna, or negative stigmas and stereotypes, I should say. That's another big thing I forgot to share. When I was in the 6th grade, there was a film that was super popular at the time called Beyond Paradise. And that film featured a Haole boy named Mark Thompson, who moved to Hawaii, and he ended up befriending a few Kanaka out in Kona. And all of these Kanaka had like really traumatic storylines. Like some had abusive fathers, some were heavy drug addicts, and we just didn't really have like the best. They didn't really showcase us in the greatest light, is the best way I can put it. Yeah. So yeah, when I was in the 6th grade, because that film was popular, and I also grew up in Hawaiian Beaches, one of my teachers, I'm not going to say his name, although I remember him very well, because that movie was so big, he pointed at us. Sorry, my brother's trying to make fun of me over here. Get out of here. Okay, he pointed down at Hawaiian Beaches, and he said that Beyond Paradise is just like Hawaiian Beaches. All the stupid Hawaiians live down there. And he said, if you guys keep living down here in Puna, that's how you're gonna end up. You're gonna end up just like all the dumb Hawaiians. And I was in 6th grade, so that was another moment where I was so in shock that I didn't know how to respond to that. But what hurt me more was seeing so many of my Kanaka classmates agree. They're like, yeah, he's right. Like, we can't stay in Puna. We're just gonna rot and not do good here. So he was pretty much telling us like, there's no reason to stay in Puna. Don't help your community, just get out. So a lot of my classmates would always say things like, oh yeah, we have to get off this rock. Like, we're all just gonna die here if we stay on this rock. I still hear that today from young ones in Puna. So that story affected my screenplay because I wanted to write our own Beyond Paradise that told why our people are struggling like that and why there's so much violence and drugs in Puna. So I took that part of my childhood, put it in there, but it's also a mixed match of what I learned in college. So the storyline's about this young boy his i'ini is to just engulf himself in Mea Hawaii, but his ohana is not like one that is anchored in Hawaii kind stuffs. So he eventually seeks it out through like his community and through the aina. And then he kind of reclaims his idea of what Puna is. And yeah, it's just this whole awesome story that I wrote. And yeah, that became my thesis, and it's done. I puka'd. Now all I have to do is figure out how I'm gonna take this story and bring it back to my community so that we can figure out a way to bring it to life.
Wow, that's major.
Yeah.
So awesome. And I think that's such an important thing because you cannot just think, I think that's something that the colonizer consistently uses that. Yeah.
Yes.
They pop off your legs and then ridicule you for not being able to walk.
Absolutely.
Right. That's one of the main primary tools of colonialism, especially when we're looking, almost nearly 130 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's something, and and that's so important. I know, we're still here in Pohoa. Yes. I still wake up and go Pohoa school every day.
Yeah.
But and that's something always trying to do. How do we bring that pride back to our haumana? Mm-hmm. Because not everybody is so fortunate to have a mommy like you. Luckily, she's like one of my mommies too. Yeah. But and it's like, how do we do that? So like now you pause school, at your master's, so what are you up to these days?
Okay, so after I pukaed from Kulanui with my master's, I needed something to help me strengthen my olelo because that was something that I knew I needed to work on. So I ended up working at Punanaleo Owaianai for a year. And that was like probably one of the biggest learning experiences ever, where you're just like immersed in the olelo. So that happened for a whole year. So I got the whole ikaika that. And then shortly after that, I ended up back on Hawaii Island. And coincidentally, like the week I came home was the same week that everybody got the call to go to the Mauna. So next thing I know, I'm on the Mauna and I'm meeting all these other like amazing Kanaka. Most of them like are people that I posted clips of. So I'm like, wow, it's cool. It's like I manifested this. And then yeah, so I ended up meeting with a lot of people who unikid under Tangaro, and they're working at Hawaii Community College. And then from there, I was like, oh, maybe I could try working there. Like, just give it just sample. So I ended up lecturing, and I did the Pico Hawaii, which is like the intro Hawaiian studies class, and I taught Olala Hawaii. And I had lots of fun doing that. I figured out how to like incorporate all my media things into that and making fun like dance videos here and there for them. And now I'm presently still working for the Hawaiian Studies program, but now I'm working directly under Tangaro and Noel as the Mokolele Pathways Facilitator. So it's my job to bring Hawaiian language and culture to the community through media. So I was like, oh, perfect. Yeah, yes. So I'm currently in charge of the Iola Haloa Hawaii Lifestyles social media pages. So if you go on there, you can go see all the cool things I've been posting and forcing all the other kumus to do TikToks with me. And
That's so awesome. It's like, right, it's perfect.
Yes, yes.
Perfect. So like, aside from your movie, what are some of your bigger goals? Like when you're looking forward, you know? Mm-hmm. What kind of projects do you want to do?
Well, I would say the biggest one is the film. And I just came back from a retreat that focused on dreams that was hosted by Kekuhi and Tangaro. And that was one of the questions that they actually asked me was like, what's a big dream that you have that you feel needs to come to fruition? And yeah, it's that film. I've been sitting on the screenplay for 2 years now. I haven't touched it. I just haven't felt like it's not time to share it yet, but I keep being asked about it. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's time to put it out there. Maybe I gotta post it online and be like, okay, here you go, Puna. If somebody wants to read it and be like, okay, we need to help this boy bring it to fruition, then yeah. So that's definitely something that's in the stars. But other than that, I also love to hakumele and to make dance videos. Yeah, there's lots of things I like to do.
Wow, that's really awesome. So yeah, it's like hard to even conceptualize for me because I'm so not really to the film industry. Yeah, but how to get to that point. Mm-hmm. But you know, like how has it changed with you know, like everybody with the TikTok and all of these other kind of small short films all the time, you know? Mm-hmm. How has that kind of changed the ability for Kanaka to get their voice and their imagery out there?
Oh, it's changed everything, because back then you needed like media, you need funding to get your films out there, but now it's just like with a click you can just be like, here you go, send this information out, which is also kind of dangerous because then you need to make sure that you're getting it from the right sources and you're posting it with the right intentions. Yeah, I've seen some Kanaka that kind of lash out online. I'm just like, whoa. Maybe you could have just shared that with your ohana. Maybe you need to post that with everybody.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What I wanted to ask you something. You know, when Janet Jackson came to Hawaii.
Yes.
I wanted to hear your mana'o about that whole thing because you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Aloha Stadium, you know what I mean? And it was like Ku'e'ana.
Yes.
So you know, I know you're a fan, so I just I really wanted to pick your brain about it because how was it?
All right, so for those who are watching and are familiar with me or my YouTube channel, I'm like low-key, okay, not even low-key, I'm like high-key obsessed with Janet Jackson. I've been into Janet Jackson since I was small. She taught me so many things about racism, about standing up for what's right. And so everybody, even this hat, Hawaiian Nation, comes from her album Rhythm Nation. Same font, same colors. But yeah, so the Janet Jackson thing. So when she came to Hawaii, I actually knew she was coming for a couple months because I kind of stalk her. Yeah, I knew she was coming and I was eyeing out the tickets, but I was just like, oh, I don't know, because like I just came back to Hawaii Island and I was like, I should probably save money for other things. And I saw her the last time she came in 2015, so I was like, okay, yeah, maybe that was enough. But I ended up getting a text from one of my kumu back at UH Manoa, Mehana Okala Hind. She texted me, she was like, Noʻeau, what you doing tomorrow? I was like, tomorrow? Why? And she was like, no, just tell me what you're doing. I was like, I think I'm free. And she was like, okay, you going with me to see Janet? And I was like, what? She's like, yeah. She's like, I remember how much you love Janet. I remember you talking about her in my classes, and I've been following your posts, and you've been doing so much good for the Lahui online that I think you deserve to go. And I was like, oh my God. Like I was sitting next to my mom and I jumped off the couch. I was like, I'm gonna go see Janet. I just got tickets to see Janet. And I wasn't even thinking about her doing anything Mauna Kea related. Like that was going on. And
right.
I was up on the Mauna too. So I was just like, oh, it would be cool. Like if she did something or anything, but I was like, it's Janet. She's so big. I don't know if she'd even want to. So we get to the stadium and we go in, and before the show starts, my kumu turns to me and she was like, Noʻeau, I just want to let you know there might be something that happens before she does Rhythm Nation, her song Rhythm Nation. I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, I contacted Janet's team and they were in conversation with me because she has dancers who are Hawaiian and they know what's going on the Mauna, and they know that I have connections to what's happening on the Mauna. So they asked if I would send them high resolution photographs to use in her show. And I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah. She's like, they never confirmed with me like if they're actually gonna do it, but just know that I had that conversation with her team. And I was like, wait a minute. First of all, how do you have a conversation with Janet Jackson's team, and why you never tell me? I was like, how do I have can I be in that conversation? So yeah, she told me that, and then we're watching the show, and like again, it kind of left my mind because I was just like in Janet mode, like, ooh, this is amazing. I want to jump on the stage with her and dance with her. And then right before Rhythm Nation started, my kumu, she's like, no, yeah, I'm so sorry, I got a Mimi. And then I was like, wait, what? You gotta use a bathroom right now? She's like, yeah, I can't hold it anymore. So she leaves. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll let you know how this goes. So the lights dim and her dancers all come out onto the stage and they all do this. And
right.
Everybody starts screaming because we're like, oh, is something about to happen? And then the lights flash and then the Mauna images come up on the stage. Right. And then it was just chicken skin. Yeah, and everybody in the audience is like, it's like echoing everywhere. And like I didn't expect that at all. So I'm like low-key getting emotional, but then I just want to jump on the stage and be like, yes! My two loves, Janet Jackson and Hawaii, is coming together. I was just, I don't know, I literally turned into a little kid. Like I was spinning around like, oh my God, like, yeah. So the images come on and they keep going. And then I see my kumu-san on the screen. I was like, oh no, she's missing her keiki. He's on the screen. I was like, oh, it's okay. She'll see it eventually. At least she'll know her keiki was in a Janet Jackson show. And then yeah, once the slides finished, then boom, the song started and she came out and she's wearing the Kukia Imana hat. I'm just like, I was like, okay, I love her.
Like your life is complete now,
yeah. All our worlds have collided. Next thing I got to do is just get on the stage with her.
Yeah. So did your kumu, was she on the stage?
No, she literally missed it. She was in the bathroom.
But I think it was meant because you had a really big impact on her Mana'o to get in touch with them and stuff. So, you know, you actually had a lot to do with this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So is that going to be like, is it a different kind of media thing that you would, you know, besides the movie thing? Yeah, this is another form of media presentation or whatever that you might think to like give to Sudden Rush or do with Sudden Rush or some of the, you know, like have that background of media, you know, kind of action and stuff. I mean, has it broadened your perspective of what type of media that you can just like go and do and stuff? I mean, why would you, to me, like, you know, it was your moment. It really was.
Yeah.
Bro, you can set it up.
I know.
You did. You had something to do with it.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know, people were like filming it on, you know, through the cell phones and stuff like that. And it was like, wow, you know, everybody was there, and that whole, you know, they were doing that whole thing, and it was like chicken skin crime.
Yes.
You know, it was a moment that, and she just was like, you could see she was like living and breathing it with all of us.
Yes.
You know.
And even when she was when she did the interview on, I think it was KHON, and she was talking to them, and like she was saying, they need to take this telescope somewhere else. Leave the Hawaiians alone. And when she said that, I was like, oh, thank you, Janet.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, it definitely influenced my thoughts media wise. Actually, I kind of felt like I dreamed that up, because I was like, if I was somebody in Janet's like place, I would use my platform to do something like that for Indigenous people everywhere that I go. Yeah.
So you're gonna hook up with what's his name? The one that wins all the awards. Josh the Tofi guys, you know, Josh, Pe'a, you know, all of these guys to kind of like share that kind of perspective.
Another interesting story that has to do with why I started doing dance videos and TikToks. Kalani Pe'a actually messaged me and told me that he felt that I needed to be doing that. Yeah, at random on Facebook. He just reached out to me. He's like, No'eau, I know we don't know each other. I don't know if you know me, but this is what I feel like I need to tell you to do. So yeah, he told me to start like posting my dance videos and stuff online, because I guess he saw some on Facebook. He's like, no, those need to be everywhere. Like, you have talent. You have to use it. So when he told me that, I was like, oh okay. Okay. So yeah, he's actually the reason. So shout out to Kalani Pe'a for reaching out to me and telling me to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious too, No'eau, and being of your generation, you know, like, what are some of the big issues you feel like, what is something we should focus on, you know, for as we move forward? What kind of conversation should we be having? And you know, I hear what you're saying about like making sure, you know, my point where we came from and how we have the advantages we have now. But what are the things that we need to continue to work on the next level? What do you think?
This might be a touchy subject for some people, but I have to speak on this because this is something that I've seen and encountered constantly on my path. Kanaka we need to remove ourselves from the chains of Christianity and the Bible. We need to oki that already. There's so many Kanaka who forget that the aina that we come from is our religion. Everything that we need is here already. It wasn't from a book. That's, yeah. Christian, there's just so much of that I've encountered within our community. So one of the things that I feel that we should do is continue to use our culture to show other Kanaka that they don't need to be scared anymore of this kind of stuff. Our culture shouldn't be the boogeyman, you know?
I hear that. And like the impact, because it's kind of sometimes can be one or the other. Yeah.
Yes.
Like to do that duality is sometimes, you know, a challenge.
Yes. And I know that this has been a an internal battle that's going on, that has been going on within our lahui for a long time. But it's something that I feel needs to be addressed, even if people don't want to address it. I think the time is now that we talk about it, because I've encountered situations where I would be teaching like a hula pele to a group of keiki, and there's always like some makua who's like, no, you can't do that because pele might noho on the keiki and make the keiki sick, and pele is gonna harm our keiki. We can't be talking about pele. And I'm just like, whoa, like, okay, I get that. I understand that your generation was raised in that kind of mentality, but like Pele, we shouldn't fear her. She's our tutu. Like she's here to malama us as we are to malama her. So it's just, we need to do things to continue to lessen the fear in any way possible.
Interesting, very interesting.
Yeah.
I've been loving the place names, the place name series. That's been super helpful.
Oh yeah.
I think, and just getting to understand, like you said, it's not Hawaiian beaches.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's not Hawaiian beaches. Do you happen to know any mana'o about the place name Pahua?
No, I actually haven't.
Yeah, I've been looking.
Yeah.
I've been trying to look, and then one mana'o I heard was Pahua. Of course, we always know dagger, yeah, Pahua daggers. But what if it's Pahua, like the pa of the meeting, the hoas? Because it is in that kind of, it is kind of one paw between all these different areas. Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know. I was wondering. I'm looking.
Oh, I've been looking too. There was one that I found. I lost it though. I don't know where it went. Talked about Pahoa being named after a certain dagger that was used to like stab Kamapua'a, but I can't find where that mo'olelo went. I was like, oh no.
I gotta find it.
Yeah, hopefully it'll pop up again one of these days.
Oh, I heard that there was a special dagger, a special Pahua, and that whoever had it would be victorious. Whatever chief had it would be victorious, but I never found it. Oh, we gotta go look now.
Yes, we have to.
Yeah, I think it's so important, the significance of the place names and maintaining our place names.
Oh, absolutely. Even in my screenplay, I made sure that all of the original place names are included within the screenplay. So we're not using Hawaiian beaches and stuff like that.
You know, out of all your years of research, like you're super good at the research, is there something that stands out to you that is just something that you just treasure above all the rest, or you just feel is so powerful?
That's hard because it changes. Like sometimes I'll find something political and be like, this is awesome. And then sometimes I'll find something spiritual and be like, this is awesome too. So I don't know. I just get excited about all of our Ike. I literally turn into like a little kid, kind of like how I react when I see Janet. That's how I react when I see like super awesome, like Ike Hawaii kind of things. Like, oh yes, we need to look into this some more.
Yeah, has there ever been something you found that you had no idea about, or like, you know, you just something totally new that surprised you?
Yes, actually, and this has a long story. I don't know how much more time we have, but kalamai.
Go ahead.
So this is actually a story that I shared for the first time, I guess, with a large group of people. I shared it at the Dream Retreat, but I'm going to share it with you guys now because I feel like this, again, it's ready to be told now. So when I was super small, I used to have this like, I don't know how to explain it. I used to call him the man in the hallway. There would be this shadowy figure that would pop up in the hallway while I was always right before I'm about to go sleep, enter my room, and then stand next to my pole. He would just cool there while I go to sleep. And my head would always feel fuzzy. And sometimes because of my upbringing and I guess the Christian influence that it still impacts my family, I was often told to just pray it away, to ignore it. but something told me not to do that, to just let it go, because I never felt in danger. I never felt like it was going to harm me or do anything bad. So that went on for a long time in my childhood. And there was one night in particular where I was like, okay, I'm gonna be brave and I'm gonna try and look at it and see what it is. So everybody was sleeping. I was up in my room and I had my TV on, and then the way my bed is like set up, it's against the wall, and there's the hallway like kind of by my bed, but not really. So like if I move a certain way, I can look out the hallway and see if anybody's out there. So one night I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and look at this person in the hallway, see who it is. So the TV was on, it was late, and I felt them in the hallway. I was like, okay, I know he's there, so I'm gonna look. So I peeked over and I see this tall Hawaiian guy standing there in a suit, and he's just looking straight at me. And I got so scared that I jumped off my bed. I turned on all my lights. I turned on the TV. I was like, oh my God, what the heck was that? But so that went on for a long time. Unfortunately, like the elders in my family didn't know what to make of that. They're just like, oh, don't even talk about it. It's too spooky. Just okay it and let it go. Pray it away. But I continued to just let him come visit. And that happened, I think, until I was in high school, and then it stopped for a little while until I left for college on Manoa. And then I was taking a class called Papa Mo'oku Ahau, or Hawaiian Genealogies by Lili Kalakame'elehiwa. And in that class, you're required to like really go in depth with your genealogy and look into who your kupuna were, what their mo'olalos were, and stuff like that. So I ended up at the Bishop Museum, and I was there looking for this guy named David Mokana Kili'ikoa. And I was like, okay. And by that time, like I totally forgot about the man in the hallway and all the stuff, how he would just come into my room and stuff. That was for like nowhere in my mind. So I'm there, and then I'm looking him up in the museum, and they told me, oh, we have a couple of his chants. And I was like, oh, here's a chanter? Cool. And they're like, yeah. And we also have a photograph of him. And I was like, what? Like, for
oh
real?
my God.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah. We'll go get it for you right now. So I'm sitting in there waiting. They give me the chants. I'm like, oh yes, he has Pele chants. He has all these cool chants. I was like, oh, awesome. And then they bring out the photograph, and it's this guy right here. Oh, come on.
Wait, where is it?
Oh no, it doesn't want to show. I guess he's
shy.
Yeah,
That's
he's
okay.
Shy. Yeah, he's shy.
Yeah.
But I shared his image in another video on my YouTube, so if you want to go check it out, it's over there. But they brought out the photo. I looked at it, and immediately I was like, this is the guy who used to visit me all the time when I was small. And I had chicken skin. I was like, holy cow, this is him. And even immediately when I saw his photograph, I started to remember like this thing that he would do sometimes. He would do this like low, like humming thing. It kind of sounded like chanting while he was standing next to me. So I was like looking at the chants, looking at him. I was just like, everything was clicking. I was like, holy cow. So yeah, that was probably something that I researched that made the hugest impact on me. And then I learned all about him and his story. And he was like a dream interpreter. He was a chanter. He was all these things. And I was just like, oh, all the stuff that he likes, I like. And I was like, oh.
Oh my gosh, Noʻeau, he would come to you. That's why he would come to you.
Yeah. And when I was working on my master's in my thesis, so in the screenplay, there was one point where I thought the screenplay was done. I submitted it to my kumus, and they're like, one of them pulled me aside. Shout out to Kumu Haliopua Baker. She read it, and she was like, she asked to meet with me one day, just one-on-one. And she told me there's something missing in this screenplay. And I was like, what you mean? And then she asked if she could tell me a story. And she shared with me a story about a little girl who used to be visited at night by one of her kupuna. And that kupuna would transfer ike to her while she's sleeping. And while she's telling me this story, I was looking at her just in shock, like, holy cow, how does she know my life? and so after she finished her story, I was like, that's exactly what happened to me. She's like, yeah, no, yeah, I can tell. There's certain things that you know that I don't think someone in this world could have taught you. Somebody from beyond had to have given you that. And she just, because I never clicked that he was the one teaching me, but she helped me put the pieces together. She's like, this ike that you have inside of you, this ancestral knowledge, it's there because he gave it to you.
Mm.
Yeah. So I was like,
Wow.
okay.
Ah,
Yeah.
wow. Ooh.
And it makes you think too, Noelle, like what you're saying about the Christianity, like how many other tupuna came to their
Exactly.
mo'os, but then wasn't
being heard.
Mm-hmm. It makes you really think, yeah, like because you were open to it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, interesting. It's really interesting, and now it makes me understand more of why the Christianity, how another layer of how that impacts Kanaka today.
Yes.
The things that
because I was constantly told to pray it away. Like it could be something evil, it could be a demon. You need to make it go away. Like don't talk about it, don't speak about it. And then when I was working at Punanoleo, and even outside of Punanoleo, I would hear Keiki sharing similar stories, and the makuas are always saying the same thing, like, "Oh, don't talk about it. It's spooky." Mai ho'olohe oikela oki. And that was just like, once I figured out who my tutu man was, I would always try and intervene and be like, oh, wait, are you sure you want to oki that? There could be a kupuna there that's trying to communicate with your kiki and pass on their ike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And just to be cognizant too, yeah, of all of our kupuna is still with us.
Yes.
They're still here. But
we don't need to be afraid of them.
Yeah. They'll never hurt you.
Yeah.
Wow, how amazing. That's really powerful. It's amazing.
So take yourself 20 years from now. You know, where do you see yourself 20 years from now?
Okay.
I'm just asking,
I'm gonna try and dream big here. Okay, so the feature film is done. It's available everywhere. Kanaka, watch it. It inspires a whole new generation of Hawaiian filmmakers, and it totally changes the imagery of Puna. Well, at least the current imagery. It reminds everybody of what Puna is actually about. Beyond that, I see myself making music because that's another thing that I love to do, and I would like to combine like traditional Hawaiian things, especially my tutu man's mele, and bring it into like this contemporary area, which I'm low key like doing right now. I just posted a song that I wrote the other day that was based off of a mele that he wrote about Puna. So I took some of his lyrics and brought it into a new song. So I was like, okay, I can do this.
Wow.
Yeah. So I love to do more music and filmmaking in the future.
I love it. And you know, all of us benefit from that. And I just like, it's so exciting to think about, what our children, what the things they'll take for granted. Maybe they'll just take it for granted that Hawaiians are the most revered. And that, you know, and just like how we are able, our generation can take it for granted that we have Olelo, that we have Kumu, that we have Hawaiian history in our schools, you know. Hopefully our children will take it for granted that they have their land back.
Yes.
Be great. Would be. And I'm so grateful for you for joining us tonight. That was awesome, Mo'olelo. It's really great to get to know behind the scenes. I think, you know, all of us here, you know, that are in the movement and into Ike Hawaii, I think probably all of us can share one of your videos before. At least, you know, all of us probably. So mahalo nui for that work, for bringing those voices. And I think that's an amazing thing to make sure that the voices of the kupuna are still heard, continue to be heard.
The movement continues.
Yeah, that's right. Any final thoughts, Kumu?
No, that's it. Mahalo for coming.
Mahalo.
Yes, mahalo nui. It was a great show. And next week we'll have Tanya Maile Naehu from Molokai. She'll be with us next week, Monday at 7 p.m. here on Kanakanology. I want to thank all of our viewers out there for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week. Ahuiho.
Aloha.
Ahuiho.